Bro, I just wanted to, obviously touch base with you with regards to the options that you've got, subscribers that I have. People don't
Mm-hmm.
always want to go into investing in something that they can't feel, touch, and experience, especially if
Yeah.
they have to lock, capital into an opportunity over 3 years, and that time, that they need to wait before they can see any sort of income or, appreciation in their pocket, which really
Yeah.
matters, is a bit hard for most to really comprehend. Because, I mean, the frame of reference anywhere else in the world is I buy something, I rent it out, I get the money,
Yeah.
and it's
Especially the first-time investor. First-time investors always like to get immediate ROI, you know?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there is a demographic on this channel for that, and there's also buyers out there buying real estate every single day. So
Mm.
they should be buying it through you and me, really.
Yes, of course.
So
Especially if you can see the ROI sheet that I've sent you. This is all pretty much 7.4, 7.5%, you know?
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So I literally want to take a few seconds to go
Sure.
through that list. So everything with a good developer is above 7%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost, see, net would be around 6.8 to 7%, but they're all pretty much, 7% to be honest.
Okay. And how do you feel about I know you work with a lot of the good developers,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in Arjan. I mean, that is handing over in May, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my client said. I've got a studio for sale there, second floor, pool view.
And Oxford Gardens?
Oxford Gardens, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I also anticipate, Iman performing a lot better than the average,
Yes. See,
studios in that
what
location.
what Iman does is they once you enter the building, Iman is all about amenities. Ellington is all about apartment quality. This is what I've realized because I've done a lot of viewings for clients. Usually, clients when they come to me for JVC, they either come for Ellington or Iman because they have the biggest brand value in JVC, right? And you can never go wrong as long as you get a good entry price. Nothing like too above market price. We get a good entry price, you're always going to get good rent because the amenities are unmatched in JVC. If you see every other building, even the newer buildings, the older Harrington and Iman buildings beat the newer unknown developers basically.
That's very true. I recently sold, and you can tell me about what you've sold as well. I think you just broke a record, but the Oxford Boulevard studio I sold for 800,000, and then
Wow.
rented for
See, this is almost like a 4-year-old building, and if it's getting sold at 800,000, which even now if you see Oakley Square Residence handed over a few months back, Oakley Square Residence is selling at the same price. So even if you go for an older building in JVC, especially from Ellington and Amman, you're not going to go wrong because you still have room for capital appreciation because the quality of the apartments and the quality of the amenities is the same as the newer buildings in JVC.
Yeah,
So
100%.
people don't mind renting out these units because it's literally the same.
I always say to my clients, buy these. Yes, if you're looking for a studio, I can find you something for 500,000. Like buy that, but I mean, the value of that property might not increase over time because
Yeah.
people are not willing to pay higher rent for older buildings. They will earn more money. They'll have the ability to pay more for rent, and they will find something that's more suitable to their lifestyle and newer. And I mean that studio rented for 63,000.
Which one? The Iman studio?
The Iman studio that I sold. So that's
That is
around
very good rent for a studio in
also,
JVC, to be honest.
and
Yeah.
it's ground floor.
And ground floor.
And
Okay.
ground
So
floor.
is it the one with this thing? Double height ceiling?
No, it's not double light ceilings. No, not that
Have
one.
you seen the rent for the loft studios in Oxford 212, right?
I haven't. No.
It's 90,000 for studios.
For a
It's
studio,
unheard of.
man. And people are willing to pay that because
Yeah. Because there's nothing like that in the market.
like there's cheaper options, but people
Yeah.
don't want those options.
Exactly.
They prioritize. Their priority is a better lifestyle. When I get home, how do I want to feel? And it's those intangible things that really matter. Okay, so what you've put together for us here is options in the ready market and
Yeah.
soon to be ready.
And a couple of options, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So run us through this list. Belgravia Square. Who's the developer?
The Belgravia Square is by Ellington Properties.
Ellington
Handed
Properties.
over 1 year back.
Okay.
So basically, this is on the second renewal for the tenants, and this unit, which is 740 square feet, it just got renewed just last month. So the buyer is going to get the basically full rent minus 1 month.
Full rent minus 1 month. So, and that return is 7%.
7.4% gross, 6.99 absolute net.
6.99 net. So that means after service charges. Okay.
After service charge and after calculating the 6% that they need for the purchase.
Okay.
Basically the agency fees and the DLT.
Okay. On the video.
So the next option is Harrington House. It's a 774 square feet, 1 bedroom. So right now we are selling this for 1.18 million. This comes fully furnished, and it's a very well maintained apartment. And the current market rent for Harrington House is around 95 to 100,000. Because this is fully furnished, people don't mind paying 110,000. Why? Because even if you see the transactions in Harrington House, there have been units that were unfurnished that's been rented for 110. So 110 is easily doable. Now, if you want to give it on short term, you could still fetch a bit more than 110 as well.
That's interesting, man. Like JVC in my mind doesn't really say short-term rental. Is it really that good?
It is crazy. If you go to an Oxford 212 building and if you see the ground floor units, literally every second building has been given to a short-term company.
Wow.
And I'm not sure if you have done deals with Prime Stay, so I have done a few deals with them. They say JVC is one of our biggest markets right now. We are getting more more units in JVC than downtown and Business Bay right now, because there's so many good developers, so many good projects coming up.
And so,
so
Harrington House is also Ellington, right? So
yes.
The reason you're getting those big rents is again the brand equity and the quality.
Yeah, and one more good thing about Harrington Houses, it's the only low-rise Ellington building which has 92 units in the entire building. Now, if you see Belgravia Square, they're all the other low-rises are around 150 to 240 units per building. This has only 92 units. So in the building, you have less competition. And if you ask, I have some big investors in Ellington. Harrington House and Kensington Waters, I'm not sure if you know about Kensington Waters in Shobha Heartland. They're the same contractor. So the apartment quality is absolute top notch.
Harrington House, 1 bedroom, just over 700 square foot.
Yeah, 774.
774, just shy of 800 actually. Nice one, bro. What's next on the list?
So the next one is Belgravia 2. It's the good thing about Belgravia 2 is, to be honest, if you ask me, Belgravia 2 is one of my favorite projects by Ellington and JVC because it's right next to the park. I call it the Ellington Park because it's Belgravia 2, Belgravia Square, Belgravia 1 and Hamilton House. And beside this is the big park, right? So I call it the Ellington Park.
Ellington Park, like
location is amazing. The size, look at the size of the studio. It's 503 square feet. Now the studios are all shrunk, you know?
That's big.
Yeah, all the studios in Iman right now, they're all 400-ish. So 500 square feet is a very good size. We're selling this at 800,000 right now, vacant.
Right now.
And yeah, of course, current market rent is anywhere between 60 to 65,000. So if you include the service charges of 15.04 AD per square feet, this is giving you around 7.2% gross ROI, net ROI 6.8%. For the studio, it's pretty good.
It's very good. I think rent between 6, 7, 8% compared to anywhere else in the world is really good.
I wanted to give you an example. I sold an Oxford 212 unit on handover, which is 1.5 years back? Not even 1.5 years, like 1 year, a few months back. And the client bought it for 480,000. We sold it for 630,000 on handover, literally on handover. Now, 1.5 years later, I resold it again for 850,000 dirhams. So the three sales for this one studio has appreciated in time.
Anyway, what's next? What's next on the list?
Next on the list is 10 Oxford. To be honest, now if you ask me, Prakul, what is the future of JVC, which is going to be the best low-rise building? I would say 10 Oxford beats everything. Wow. To be honest, if you see the amenities, if you see the building structure, Oxford 212 did a very good job in JVC. It's the highest performing building last year. After Oxford 212, the only other building that kind of beat Oxford 212 in terms of base value for resales was Oakley Square Residence. Now, Oakley Square Residence, to be honest, if you ask me, it's not the best layouts in the world, right? There are 670 square feet, 1 beds, selling at 1.2 million. But only because it's Ellington. If you see the resale value now, there are so many units sold at 1.4 million dirhams for 1 beds.
Right.
So it's basically the brand, basically. That's about it.
Yeah.
And what I was saying is 10 Oxford will definitely 100% surpass Oxford Terraces 2 and Oxford 212.
Wow.
Because it's just the building structure is really nice. The amenities are top notch. And one thing to know about low rises in JVC is any low rise that is surrounded by townhouses is the best plot. Because if you've seen on the main roads of JVC, there are low rises attached to a mid rise. Those are the worst plots. Now, Iman and Ellington have done a very good job selecting their plots in a way that their plots are surrounded by townhouses.
Yeah.
So you don't have like a massive building right in front of you. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm just basing, this is based on the current market rent. The current market rent for Oxford 212 is around 65,000 dirhams for high-end studios, 70,000 dirhams. This handover is in 2025. Service charges also based on Oxford 212 because we don't have the service charges yet. So I've just kept the service charges at 18. So based upon the service charges for Oxford 212 and the current market rent, let's forget about what's going to happen in the future. Currently, if you just based upon the previous numbers, 7.39% gross ROI and almost 7%, 6.97% net ROI.
Okay.
For this one.
That's adequate. What's next?
And the next one is a very interesting one. So next one is this building, Belgravia Heights 2. It's just getting handed over. So I want to tell you something before I say something about this unit. I sold a 2-bed on the mid-floor facing park just in October for 1.65 million dirhams. Let me tell you how my client who bought an off-plan with me made money.
Okay.
So we got a 50-50 payment plan. During construction, he bought the 2-bed for 1.125 million dirhams. 1,125,000. Okay. We sold it for 1.65. So that is 525,000 dirhams profit. Yeah.
Wow.
Now,
how long was that? 2 years.
1 year, 8 months, almost 2 years. You can say 2 years.
Okay.
Till the handover, 2 years. So here's the interesting part. The payment plan for this was 50-50.
Okay.
So my client had only paid 560,000 during construction.
Okay.
And we didn't pay the handover payment because the new buyer came in and bought it just a couple of months before handover. So he paid 565,000 and he made 525,000 in 2 years. That is almost 100% ROE.
Yeah, it's just return on equity is almost 100%.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I'm so glad you bring this up, man. I'm so glad you bring this up because in this book here, I was doing calculations for like the client who I sold for, how much he paid, blah blah blah, and calculating return on equity just so that people understand how these payment plans are so beneficial, man. So beneficial. Yeah. It's incredible.
Exactly.
Also, timing is really important. Buying the right unit is really important. Open view, pool view. Nothing that's less desirable than the others. Buy the best unit.
Yeah, I would say the most important thing for that sale was the timing because he bought it just after COVID and then the market absolutely skyrocketed in JVC. You can see JVC even 2025, even though the market has increased by 80-90% over the last 2 years, it's still the highest transacted area in Dubai.
Yeah, it's always in the top 10 for volume and not value but volume.
Yeah, of course.
It's great, and for rentals as well.
Yeah, so I have another 2-bedroom now. Now this is 1 floor higher. A 2-bedroom that's giving you 8.29% gross ROI, 7.82% net ROI. Why? It's handing over right now.
Yeah.
Brand new building. I've actually been to Belgravia Heights too. I went and did the snag for that unit. It's literally the best high-rise building in JVC in terms of apartment quality. I've never seen anything like that before. We did snagging. I found 2 snags in the entire, in a 1,200 square feet, 2-bedroom.
That's incredible.
It was so surprising. My client couldn't find any flaws in the building. It was already ready to move in, basically.
Oh, amazing, man. Yeah, it's great when it's like there's no headaches.
Exactly. So this one we are selling at 1.75 million dirhams. Current market rent, even for Belgravia Heights 1, is around 140,000 to 160,000 for a 2-bedroom. So 1.75 handing over now. Service charges based on Belgravia Heights 1. So this is literally the same concept. 8.29% gross ROI, 7.82% net ROI. And still room for appreciation. Because if you see some units in the building, some guys are selling at 1.9 and 2 million.
No, so we're at 1.7.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. And as soon as somebody else sells for a little bit higher, I mean, that's safe to assume we could potentially...
because the sellers keep looking at the transactions, keep looking at the listing prices. They see someone sell higher than them, they want to match that price.
Because
their
unit is better than that one. Even though they've never seen it, even though it's got pool views, doesn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's an interesting game, man.
Yeah. So the next
Interesting
one we
game.
have circling back to Harrington House. This is a very good sized unit for Harrington House, to be honest. 791 square feet, one bedroom, selling at 1.15 million dirhams. Currently rented for 85,000, but it is renewed from the last 1.5 years, basically. So the good thing about this is it's going to get vacant soon. The
Okay.
entry price is extremely good because it's only 1.15, and like I said, the previous unit where you can easily get up to 95 to 110,000.